man. This is Bigg Faccz.
Bigg Faccz. Bigg Faccz.
Hey, shit. Man, we're coming in hot today. First and foremost, first fucking segment, people. This is the first show. The first
cough introductions. Cough.
we are in there, man. I'm your boy,
yes, we
your
are.
host with the most, Big Mike, too big for 1G.
Too big.
And we are ready to fuck shit up, man. Let me
fuck
tell you
shit
more
up, boy.
about my co-host, my boy BTP.
Yes, sir.
Man,
yes,
what's
sir.
up, BTP?
What up, boy?
Man.
What up, man? It's your boy BTP, the realist, you know what I'm saying? Coming out of ATX, much love to Satan, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, we holding it down for the north side. This is Bigg Faccz, too big for 1G, as you already know. Holding it down for the whole Central Texas, Dirty South, and the rest of the world that really want to hear our opinions and how we throw shit down. You know,
our
much
opinions,
love.
not our penises.
Our opinions, more like, I'm sorry, let me run that back.
I heard
facts.
That too, man.
Facts. It's less opinions, more facts, because that's what we getting at, you know what I'm saying? And what we talking about now, we running this thing, you know what I'm saying? When it comes to the entertainment, we've been around, you know what I'm saying? We got the credentials behind it, we running,
sure.
You know what I'm saying? You know, we think we full of this and that, you know, we working on our shit. I'm in PhD school, much love to UTSA and all the alumnus out there, you know what I'm saying? They say alumnus, not alumni. I think that's the pronunciation for it. So we go ahead and run it like that. And so when you hear things and you see what we talking about, there's actually a little bit of weight behind it. So you might want to go ahead, tune in, listen, vibe out, and enjoy. If you rolling, we rolling, and we roll out together. So what we talking about today, man? What's up, Big Mike?
Man.
Oh yeah, there's a dude on the side now, MONDEAUX Boujie. What up, MONDEAUX Boujie?
Hold on.
What's up?
Hold on. Before we get into it, this is the fucking producer that is going to irritate your fucking soul. You're gonna hate to love this man. I love this motherfucker, but I hate to love him. So my boy MONDEAUX Boujie.
MONDEAUX Boujie, too small for two B's.
Too small for two B's. He only got one B, people. He only got one B on that Boujie. You know what I'm saying? But understand, it's like 6'3" and 100 and soaking wet. So we gotta look at Yo, man.
I'm a little bit heavier than that. You know?
He's actually a big boy, ladies. But he's taken.
Big.
Hey, today, man, we're gonna dive right in. I'm your host, Big Mike, too big for 1G. That's our producer, MONDEAUX Boujie. My co-host, BTP, the realist. MONDEAUX, what the fuck do we got on our agenda today?
Today, I mean, first off, before we get into the really meaty stuff, I kind of want to hear what you guys been listening to. You know, now you guys, I know that both of you guys are really involved in music. And like myself, we listen to music every single day. So what you guys been listening to?
I'm gonna knock mine out because it ain't gonna take that long. I'm an old school cat, so I keep a lot of my old school shit in the mix. You know what I mean? If it ain't fucking Maze and Frankie Beverly or goddamn just fucking the spinners or the stylistics, like, and then we jump on up to goddamn the 90s because I'm a 90s kid. 80s baby, but I'm a 90s kid. So I love my fucking music, man. I love Tupac, I love Biggie, I like all that. All of that is bumping in my speakers. But if you want new content, my new release shit, I like a lot of my local artists, dog. First and foremost, man, my boy LV the Boss. LV is a heavy spitter, bro. Like he's full of bars and a whole lot of shit to say. LV the Boss put out a project that really, in my opinion, shouldn't even be a mixtape. It should be a fucking album, but it's good. You guys should definitely go check it out. It's called A Loner's Plate. Look it up on YouTube. Look it up on anything.
Is that out already?
It's almost out. Right now, you're going to catch a single. Yeah, I believe he dropped a single on it. Don't get me lying about the name of the single because right now my brain is not functioning on all cylinders, but we're going to try to kick it into gear. But I can tell you right now,
marijuana.
it's the ganja, people. It's the ganja. It was too early to be trying to play with ganja, but Mary Jane is still
too
speaking
early.
through my veins. Ain't never too early. But look, man, a lot of our local talent, bro, got a lot of hits, man. And that's pretty much what I be bumping, man. Like a lot of my new shit that comes out in the local world. Y'all stay tuned though, because I got a whole bunch of more local motherfuckers coming up to smack you in the face. Kanye West's new album, I checked it out, wasn't that great to me, but I ain't gonna knock it.
And that's not news though. Like,
nah, you know,
that's
not news.
I kind of expected at this point.
Right. It's exactly. This is coming from a motherfucker that's not a rapper.
You know, and that's a good point, you know, because Kanye, you know, when you think about that album and when it was released, you know, it like when you okay, so when we talk about Kanye, he's been out for a minute. You know what I'm saying? He's been out for a minute. I you know, we could say, you know, compared to a lot of folks that are coming in right now, you know, and comparing them to other folks that are kind of later in the game, you know, like Jay-Z, Jeezy, Nas, you know, and others, you know, dropping albums, you know, and after, you know, they kind of had their moment within the mainstream, you know, I guess per se, when they were really kind of getting bumped out in different outlets and whatnot, and they were the main ones getting pushed on Billboard and whatnot, different without it perceived as hip hop outlets. They continue to drop this music, it gets some love. Do you feel like maybe the essence of what they're doing is starting to change now that they're having a little bit more creative control, dropping a little bit more on the labels, and they're kind of really showing more of what they want to do artist wise, and it's more about them and less about their team of creators that are trying to kind of create this content that would be widely accepted, I guess. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to saying, I don't really care what people accept, I want to drop it. Because that's what I get a lot from Kanye. He don't really care what people like. He's just going to make it because he wants to be a creator, you know, and that can have a double-edged sword effect. Because, you know, you can have that creativeness and it popped 30 years later and you're seen as a genius. Mm-hmm. Or, you know, it just, you've invested a lot of money into something and it never really went anywhere.
Never going to take away from his genius. But bruh, because I was wondering when I was going to get an answer in for the question or two that you popped in there. And then I was like, well, which question do you want to answer to? Because you shot a few questions in there and then you answered them for me. So there was nothing for me to do.
That's a lot of words.
That was a lot of words in a full circle approach. All right, how about this? If someone can count the number of words that I just said in that last little paraphrase, I'll give you like $100. Because I give you like $100 because that'd be pretty impressive.
He was counting.
Don't hold me to that, but that'd be impressive.
Hold him to that because he said it. I didn't hold him.
Hey, he's at $100 now. You don't know the people on the internet, man.
They like, man, I'm a
pause, play.
Pause. Oh, that shit ruined.
It's gonna be rough, bro. I've Mr. Lecture over there, you know, BTP the doctor, is gonna give you a lecture of all figures. I'm gonna try to make some sense of this. If you're asking me, does he give a damn? Let me give you the hood translation. I don't think he does. I don't think he gives two fucks. I don't think he have a few of them to give. I don't even think he have any of them to rub together. So I don't think he has any fucks to rub together, bro. Like our producer MONDEAUX, bro. Like he has no fucks to rub together, bro. Like he has He has that Kanye no fucks given. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Make better music though.
Facts. But we'll dive into that soon. Like I think you low key could be a better producer in due time. Oh, I dropped it. I said it. I ain't gonna mention no more. But I think B, I want to know what you've been listening to, bro. We skipped over what you were listening to. What you been listening to?
Man, bro, on the cool, I'm someone that always kind of go back to like my throwbacks. I like to kind of mix and mingle it. So, you know, I'm gonna get some good honorable mentions, you know. All my folks down here in Texas, Gorilla Mob, you know what I'm saying? I've been listening to a lot of that lately. It's been throwing me back that fold on, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, we've been listening to a lot of that lately. Gorilla Mob, so that's Road Trey, you know what I'm saying? All that old school.
I was gonna say, for those who don't know.
You know what I'm saying? I believe also Dougie D, I believe also, and some other folks was in it. Mike D, you know what I'm saying? Mike D.
Dougie
and
D,
everybody
Mike D,
else. You know what I'm saying? All them. So I've been listening to a lot of that. Yeah, man, and it's cool because when you listen to a lot of the old school production, you're starting to see like a recurrence sometimes, especially with the use of the 808 and how it's being used in Dirty South music back in the 80s and 90s. You're really starting to see the influx of culture nowadays, so that's really cool. But as far as current releases, I know we shitted on my boy Kanye, but I do like the Hurricane song. I like how it was put together. I liked how it had different transitions and whatnot. You know, the features were dope. You know what I'm saying? I liked how Baby went on that hoe in The Weeknd. I think they put it together nicely, and Kanye having his bars, you know, as far as like real punchlines, you know, it's not really like how he puts it together, like the little little things like that, or how he said like, you know, I ain't gonna judge a rental, you know what I'm saying, like you know, shit like that. So little subliminals there, you know, what he talk about, I appreciate that every now and then. When it comes to other folks, I like Nas's Nobody, you know what I'm saying, featuring Lauryn Hill,
yes,
you know,
man.
that hoe go hard. Y'all go listen to that. That's that King Disease 2, you know what I'm talking about. And for my last one, you know, is that Young Jeezy, you know, Therapy for My Soul. This is off of Recession 2. And this was dropped right after the versus battle he had with Gucci. So if y'all was staying in tune with the whole versus situation, you know, much love to Timberland and much love to Swizz holding it down for the culture, you know, but he dropped that right after that, and that whole go hard. It's got some nice production to it. Y'all really gonna love that shit. Local mentions, I love my local music. I think that's some of the fresh breath and air that's really being brought into the industry right now. I've been listening to the song called One Night by that boy Mello the Incredible and that boy Reggie T. That whole go hard. Yes, sir. Mello, you know what I'm saying? Mr. King Legend, how he going by. And you can find that on YouTube, SoundCloud, Spinrilla. We're going to have links for all this stuff. So we're going to make sure y'all nice, righty, and tidy with all these things. You know what I'm saying? Nice and
Big
you
facts,
can find these
big
things. Another dude is this dude named Locke. Be the Change I Want to See. That whole go hard. He's actually an engineer. In the beginning, and that's what he's really known for. So when you listen to the song, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Huh? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so he a producer, you know, but when he got on the track, you know, it sounds really good. You can see the quality in the vocal himself. So it sounds really dope. And the last one, I just want to give a good mention to that boy Young Mex and his single My Dog. That hoe's been getting a lot of love from a lot of different blog sites. It's been jumping. You know, much love to all my Latin hip hop artists out there, you know, putting in the work. You know what I'm saying? Putting on for the culture. And honestly, yeah, man, that's what we've been listening to with the locals. Much more local mentions, but you know, got to get to some other.
Plenty more. We're gonna get to the local mentions.
We're gonna get to it.
Yeah, we're gonna get to them real soon. It's a whole lot of them to talk about.
Yes, sir.
I think.
Real quick before we get started, I don't mean to interrupt you, but what I'm going to say is more important. Back to the Kanye. I did want to get your guys' opinion. Do you feel like you got to the point where you think like when a Kanye comes out with a new album, there's so much hype behind it, and you think that this could either be the greatest project ever released, or it can be a pile of dog shit? And it's more going to be a pile of dog shit. That's what you're leaning towards every time. But there's always that slither of hope where you're like, this could be fucking amazing. I really hope it's amazing.
Mondo, I think I got you. I got you on this one. Mondo, thank you, my asshole producer, for that immaculate cutting me the fuck off. It was like getting that old lady that cut you off in traffic and do 20 in the fucking fast lane. Like,
and she blames you.
And she
like,
flicks
your fault for wanting a dog.
You fucking millennials. But no, that's how you just cut me off like that. But anyway, I appreciate it, Mondo, because you really bring up some great points, bro. Like, shitting on Kanye is easy, right? He makes himself such a big target. So let's get away from that. Let's get to the fact that the fucker's a genius. I'm never going to take away from his genius capabilities, bro. Like, he knows how to make fucking good music. But when he gets too far gone, in my opinion, and this is an opinion, not a fact, I'm just stating my opinion in this case, I think that he tends to go a little too fucking above and beyond with his space mind reality shit. Like, but dude, he's going to drop some gems no matter what the fuck he does. He could drop a gem and not even be trying to. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's that good. You know what I'm saying? We're never going to take away from his ability to make music, his creations. You know what I mean? And to be honest with you, at the end of the day, when you're creating music, and music especially, it's meant to offend and transcend. It's meant to resonate and piss you off. It's meant to make you feel emotions.
Right.
It's meant to make you go through all different ranges, because that's why it's the fucking language of the world. You know what I mean? Like, if this is the fucking language that we all speak, bro, it's meant to make you feel shit. And it's meant to make you feel from happiness to sad to gratefulness to joy to freedom. Like, music is gonna get you there. And then Kanye is a bad person. Like, if he makes bad music, bro, he wouldn't have been around as long as he has.
Right.
You know, like he has, in my opinion, you know, one of, and I say this very loosely, one of the best albums of all time. You know what I mean? Graduation, in my opinion, was one of those great albums that he could play from here to fucking Timbuktu and 100 years from now, and it's still gonna fucking jam. It was so far ahead of its time, but still needed in the time that it came. Like, that's great music. When you can hit ahead of your time and still hit on time, that's fucking hard. And he's that good.
Yep.
So
I feel like there's a couple artists that are just so intelligent and have so much genius behind them that sometimes that they go too far
and understandably so,
and it just goes above people's heads.
You know, it's just like effect. You know what I mean? Like, you get so dove in, like you know, a couple, just to name, you know, a couple more off. Nas, since we brought Nas up, you know, NAS, you know, shout out to Nas, because man, I'm a big fan of the Godson, man. I think he can be so genius and clever with his wordplay that he can miss you with some points that you ain't gonna catch until like 2 years later. When you actually go through the experience, bro, and you're like, hey, that's what Nas was talking about.
That's what
in my book of rhymes. You know what I'm saying? Like, that song in particular, Book of Rhymes, if you haven't heard it, get a chance, go check it out.
Never heard it.
Man, it's one of his best songs, in my opinion, bro. Like, he's literally flipping through the pages. You can hear it in the microphone, bro. He's flipping through the pages of some old books that he wrote rhymes back in the day and shit. And he got these different verses, and he's just plugging verses and making them fit
the same beat.
To the same fucking beat. Bro, that's
impressive.
That's fucking insane. You know what I mean?
Just
like,
on the fly like that.
You got other fucking songs that have totally different tempos, and you're making them fit a tempo that they're not supposed to fit. He's like, you know, Eminem does it too. You know, Eminem does where he takes words and make them fit together that aren't supposed to go together.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's why the flow sometimes sounds so sporadic
so
sometimes,
weird,
but it still goes.
It's nasty. They have that capability to miss you. Intellectually, they can miss you. They can go right over your fucking head, and
that's knowledge.
It's on that big head full of knowledge, bro. Like, they just pack full of fucking information, dog. Well read and well traveled, well experienced, and they know how to take it and paint a picture.
You know, and the true medium of it is really trying to find that knowledgeable lyricism to deliver a message, and also it be catchy, and for it to be simple. You know, like you know, sometimes people will hear people talk and be like, man, this motherfucker putting shit together, and you know, it's you know, to make it sound like smart, or you know, or like they don't want me to understand, or I don't know what the fuck they talking about, and they just completely dismiss the whole idea. You know, and then if you try to find that median, it's like, oh, that's what you're talking about.
That's what you mean.
I can see what you're saying. You know, and that's where that medium is found. And it's crazy because hip hop got so many different dimensions and genres nowadays. You know, and you have different techniques and skills and styles to be able to see so many different outlets. You'll go from something as catchy as Future and Gucci Mane, and then on the other end you got like Nas and Big L. You know, so
let's get into that. So you got Big L, you know, rest in peace, you know, past artist, and let's kind of dive into that. You know what I mean? Let's dive into some of these artists that passed a little bit too soon. You know what I mean? Like Mac Miller. If we're gonna dive into Mac Miller, bro, you know, rest in peace to Mac. Like, if we're gonna dive into Mac Miller, bro, I can't think of anybody else better to kind of segue that for us and talk about it, because my boy Mondo is a big fucking fan of Mac Miller.
Damn right.
And I don't think there's too much of his music he hasn't heard, bro. So let us know about Mac, bro. Tell us something about Mac Miller, man.
I've probably heard everything from Mac Miller since Mac and Easy, back when he was Easy Mac with cheesy raps.
True story.
And that I think that was like 2008, 2009. Yeah. And I listened to it on YouTube. He's one of those artists that's kind of like developed immensely as the years go by. I mean, if you compare Kids, which is one of his big debut projects, you compare it to Swimming, which is the project that he released right before he passed away.
Right.
Yeah, they're night and day. You probably show them to two people who haven't heard any of them, and you're going to be like, that's not the same person.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
And he's just that level of development, and the amount of bars that he spit, just it's just different. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of things about Mac Miller that you can say. He's like, oh, he only made it because he's white, only made it because of certain things. But that guy had some real talent, you know, and I'm not going to get into the race thing because that's a whole rabbit hole. But Mac Miller is my favorite artist of all time. And one thing is, if you guys know anything about Mac Miller, he just released, or his Warner Brothers just released Faces, which was an album that was, or mixtape that was originally released in 2014, right before he signed with Warner.
Yeah.
It only released onto YouTube because it had some issues with some samples clearing. And now it's on all streaming platforms. And it's a banger. If you haven't listened to it, go ahead and listen to it. But I think when it comes to artists passing away and things being released after they died, it really opened up to some questions like, what's the motive? What's the purpose of this being released at this time?
Right.
A year and a half after Circles, which is another post-humptuous album. Is that the right way to say that?
Yeah,
post-humptuous?
Post-posthumous. Yeah. Something like that. Yeah.
It's such a hard word. I feel like they should just give us an easier
Can we
word
get
to
a sub?
say.
Can we get a sub? Can I get a sub fix for that, please?
Can you just give me something that's like 3 letters long?
It's hard to say. It's hard to say shit with a southern accent sometimes. I be trying to sit here and it's hard.
Do I have a southern draw?
You do at times. You do at times.
A little bit.
Tiny bit.
I think the white boy helps you out, bro. Like, it keeps you nice and proper.
Yeah, keeps him nice and proper.
I be in class. I can't say shit. They be looking at me like, so he said something, but I don't know if that's what he said.
Yeah, especially
they're gonna be listening on to this podcast and be like, "What color is BT? What is he?
Is he Mexican?
I really want to know.
Is he? He got to be anywhere in between. Is he Latino?
And we will find out on the game show video.
Right. Go check that out.
We will reveal it to you. You'll be shocked.
You're gonna be like, no way. He got a comb over?
I had no idea that was going on right now.
It kind of does have a comb over.
He got a comb over.
Hey, don't mess with my comb over, man. That looks mighty fresh.
Hey, that's a good
mighty fresh.
All right, so back to Mac Miller. He just released Faces.
Yes, he did.
Faces. I made you guys listen to at least some of it.
Check
Maybe not the whole thing, but you guys had to check it out. It's a project that has to be respected.
I think.
But I'm
all in all with Mac Miller, bro.
Go ahead. I wasn't talking.
It's just a cutback. You gotta speed up and cut the old lady back off. You know what I mean? Like old bitch. All right. No offense to the old people.
Yeah.
No offense to the old
people are gonna be listening. Be
we're gonna be like, what
is this content?
They fucking asshole. So just I think that Mac had an uncanny ability to be a fucking great lyricist, dog. He grew so fucking much. Cheesy Mac with the cheesy raps, into
Cheesy Mac, Easy Mac with the cheesy.
I'm gonna say Cheesy Mac with the cheesy raps.
Easy Mac with the cheesy raps. Don't disrespect him, man.
Cheesy raps. Easy Mac, man. And he I think he grew exponentially, bro. His lyrics became iconic in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? Especially when he became very honest and straightforward about a lot of his depression and a lot of his struggles. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like his real life personal struggles and shit. I feel like when you put more real life personal shit into your music, it's relatable. You know what I mean? It takes it to a different place, bro. Tell me, you being an artist, Mondo as well, being an artist, I want you guys' opinion about what would it be or what would it feel like to, in your opinion, I know you would be dead in this theory, but if you, God forbid, if anything happens to you, forbid that anything happens to either one of you guys, that how would you feel if, hindsight looking in, how would you feel if someone was dropping music after you pass, not just in the respect of that legend of your sound and of your craft, but
to profit,
to really make more continuous money, bro? Like, after you leave, like, what would you feel about that?
Right, definitely. I think honestly, like my big thing would be to make sure that my family's taken care of. I think that would be my biggest thing, my biggest moral behind it. I think it'd be really, I would feel honored for the fact that they would continue to try to release my music, that especially they would think one of my older projects, you know,
Right.
something that I ain't recorded and touched on in years,
Right.
that it was worth the investment to actually go through clear samples, which is what we'll get into, that is not cheap, and which is why a lot of people can't do it.
Right.
You know, especially at the independent level that he was on at that point in time. You know, it's I would feel grateful, but I would want to make sure that it's used respectfully.
Big fact.
That they don't just throw my face on t-shirts and shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? and my death date, you know, I would be like, man, come on, like, you know,
Right. Big facts.
but for as far as for the music and the culture, I would, you know, because you know, being able to put on these distribution sites really just kind of elevates it to a further reach that people maybe never would have heard that song before, you know, because they weren't into the Dat Piff back in the day, and they weren't into the live mixtapes. Like, that's a whole other era
it's a whole-
of music
yeah.
distribution
Whole-
that
whole
folks
other
aren't really
culture.
aware of.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that would be something, but for my family to really be a part of that. How do you feel about that, Mondo? What would you think?
Yeah, I agree with you on the fact that I would want my family to profit the most. If people are going to profit off something that I put work into, I'd want, and I'm no longer to pocket that, I'd want it to go to my family. And I think that's all that really matters. I think if, as an artist of the side of it, when they're taking work that wasn't fully completed, and this isn't colluding Mac Miller's stuff, because most of the work that's been released, with when it comes to him as an artist who's passed away and they released stuff, they've done good by
That's
him,
big
in my
facts.
opinion.
That's awesome.
Big
But
facts.
when it comes to other artists, when you got Lil Peep, Juice WRLD, Pop Smoke, you got these artists that died in the last couple of years and they've been pumping out music. But when you listen to it, and you've listened to them before, and you listen to it now, you'd be like, this music's not complete.
Right.
This person wouldn't be cool with this being released.
Right.
And if they're going out and releasing songs with only like one layer on it, and it's not even a full layer, I wouldn't want to be represented that way. And that's just the pickiness in how I am. Like, when I go ahead and I record something, I'll record a rough draft, but I would never release a rough draft.
Right.
And if I'm not around to make that call and someone's doing that for me, I'd probably be rolling in my grave a little bit. But if my family's profiting from it, you know, I guess I just have to swallow that and take it.
And it makes sense. Huh? You know, like, if your family is taken care of, and that's a great point. You know what I mean? Like, and especially if your family made the move to drop the music, you know what I mean? Like, you know, as long as your family is taken care of, I think that's the number one thing. You know what I mean? Secondly, I feel like, you know, dropping their music, like Tupac, bro, they kept dropping. They kept dropping almost 10 years after this man's death.
10 years after he passed. You know what I mean? Like, you know, so, and some of the music had the intention of being released, but some of it, like how, you know, Mondo spoke on.
And so once you release it, it sounds so different, bro. Like, it almost sounds disrespectful to that craft.
Right.
Because it's never going to be as good as it should have been. Right. It doesn't have that personal touch, bro. So you take away from that. You know what I mean? Like, so with Mac, Warner Brothers, I think Warner Brothers, like you said, they did good by him. You know what I mean? Like, his whole supporting cast, bro, his family, the whole nine, they did good by him. Like, as long as they don't take it too far, I feel like it's respectable. I think it's
because
perfect.
one of the biggest red flags of all that, I would say, with the deceased musicians, and it's like I said with Pac, I feel like maybe up until the 4th or 5th album that was dropped, like it was like Until the End of Time or something, that I feel like he kind of planned out. But like Pac's life and the ones before that, like, you can tell it's his verse, it's a whole bunch of features, and it's over some production that is like, I can hear him on tempo, but it don't
Until the End of Time, bro. Like, you could start hearing.
Yeah, it was kind of pushed.
It was reaching, bro. Like, he was reaching.
It was reaching.
The best of what he could give. You know what I mean? Like, like, even with Biggie, like, they went too far with Biggie too. You know what I mean? Like, so it just, you know, I think it's more respectable movies nowadays. About him. Nipsey, they didn't go too far with Nipsey. I think they respected.
They didn't go
Nipsey.
too far.
You know, they even respected him on 3. Like, you know, just I think Triple X.
Yes,
they did him a little dirty.
They banged him out, bro.
Was Skins? I think that was the album. Man, I think I have to look into that.
Yeah, we'll check the facts. We'll check the big facts on that.
But I agree. I remember hearing it, and you hear his verse, and like he sound good, but the way they put it, and it'll be like a verse and a beat, it'd be like a 2-minute song, and you knew it wasn't meant to be that way. Especially X, the creative he was.
Not X, man.
Nah,
not
like
Extense, man.
non-extension. That's for sure.
What they haven't done that to DMX, and I think that's pretty respectable.
Yep, Swizz gonna control that. I think he's gonna do him in a real good way. He just released that one album.
That was an album that he worked on. You know, he had just completed that album though. You know,
just completed.
You know, rest in peace.
Yeah, so there was 2 albums
after he died.
After he died.
Okay.
There was Skins, which was the first one. I looked at the album cover. That one was all right. And then Bad Vibes Forever, which is something that it's just so distant. Right. You can tell when the artist was, and this is back to Mac Miller, man.
Right.
When when I was mentioning when he's live, I didn't mention Circles. Circles is something that came out after he died, and let me tell you, it's a great album.
And I think that was more him.
But
right?
It is the thing about Circles. You can tell, like, if you're a big Mac Miller fan and you listen to him, because you know that all his albums have a life and a death. First song is life, last song is death. It lives and it dies. When Circles comes on, the whole album has a different feel. It's hard to explain like the flow of his albums, but when you listen to Circles, you can tell a difference in it. And then when it ends, it doesn't have the death like all of his other albums. And it's just, you can feel it. It's a great album. Love it. I have it pumping in my car right now.
I've heard that
in my car. I've
heard Circles, and it's pretty good.
Yeah.
That was probably one of the first albums I actually got introduced after he died, and then I went and caught up on some of his old shit too. I wasn't a big Mac Miller fan at first at all, you know what I mean? Like, but as he grew and I started hearing some of his freestyles, I was like, yo,
right,
dude, spit
right,
hard.
He's live. I actually first heard Mac Miller in one of my college classes from an undergraduate. My professor threw him on, and he used one of his songs as an example for some sociological theories that we were talking about that day.
About that?
And that was back in 2014, 2013. You know, so this is almost 10 years ago of Mac dropping some shit that wasn't even on Warner Brothers yet. That's already being used at the collegiate level, whether he knew it or not. Crazy. That was being examples. You know. For
was it like Donald Trump or something? Or
I forgot. I think it was the one about Air Forces or something, the Nike one. I think I think he was talking about I think they were talking about kind of SES and the various perspectives of that, and basically kind of the culture of what he was going through at that time. So it was revolving that, and really talking about Mac Miller as a creator. I think about that one music video. I think he was like buried alive, and he was just kind of slaying in there.
When he's buried alive, that's self-care.
Self-care, you know. So I think about that and where he started, you know, with the music video of Nikes, you know, and going to that of just the creativeness of the ideas to kind of go through that, the mentality he was at that time.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, B.
No, go ahead.
Had a lot of hidden messages in his song.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
yes.
Yeah, you listen to Faces, you'll hear them all, because Faces is one of the mixtapes where it's just like, whoa. You listen to it now after he died, it's just like,
you get that face.
And it has some good samples. What were some samples off of that when it came to the production?
Some
samples off that. Faces.
I know for sure he sampled Miles Davis and and Snow White, dude. A
lot of knowledge there.
Like big knowledge, dude. Snow White from 1930 something, man. He went with the original Snow White sample. So like, and Miles Davis, bro, and
Miles
he
Davis blues,
sampled Nas too.
Right? He did sample Nas.
His samples was elaborate, bro. Like,
you know, for him to think of that, you know, and get that production together, like, wow, you know, the producers he was working with, you know, and for him to go from that kind of sampling, and when you think about the samples he was using, it was very much what is it, like blues, old school classic stuff, and then you think about the music that he was making, and it kind of had its own vibe. It was like he wanted to go into that direction with the music that was going to be produced afterwards, but it was also at the same time, you know, like he wanted to make it its own. Like we got here, like he got a sample with samples on here from
Beastie Boys
Therapy,
on
Thumbelina,
Thumbelina.
yeah.
Beastie Boys. You know what I'm saying? And come on, you got to Mac Miller being a
The
white
Mac Miller
rapper.
and
You got to
Schoolboy
have a
Q
Beastie Boys
track. The
sample.
Mac Miller and I'm sorry. The Mac Miller and Schoolboy Q track. They got Miles Davis to Get a Walk, and It Ain't Hard to Tell, man, by Nas, and that's insane. That's a
Yes.
hell of a fucking mix, man. Like I want to know, did he produce that track itself? You know what I mean? Did he produce
Right.
Friends
I wonder how much of a
itself?
hand he had in
Yeah.
it. Definitely. You
He's
know.
executive
Of the
producer
whole
of the
album.
whole
Oh, yeah.
project. When it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to tell the information of like what he actually produced
Right.
on each one, because you know you got producers that Big Germ involved in all of his
Shout out
projects,
Big
but
Germ.
he's got multiple producers on each of them, and it's kind of hard to tell. The information is not there to
True
tell
shit.
exactly which one he
A lot of the
produced
information
on,
with a
but
lot
you know
of
that
songs
he
is
had a
not
hand in
really
every
big.
single one of them. Yeah.
Right.
But then also you got he had a really good Delphonics. Who he
Delphonics.
sampled the
know what I'm saying?
Delphonics for Here We Go on that Faces
And when you
album.
think about these samples, it's not easy to get a hold of these
Man.
samples, you know, which really then shows that separation of what this record company is able to do and, you know, what other folks are able to do as far as the clearing of the samples, being able to have access to this stuff. You know, so when we're looking at this stuff and for them to have this much investment in it, you know, I wonder how much more they're going to continue to do with this project to try to see what type of return that they're really looking for. Like, you know, I know with this project, the main people on it are his mama and his brother, correct? When it came to the Mac Miller Trust being the main ones kind of being a part
between
of this.
Mom, dad, and brother.
Mom, dad, and brother.
I think it's mainly his mom and brother. I know his brother Miller.
Mm-hmm.
and it's been released under Warner Brothers, right?
Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
Warner Brothers and the McCormick Trust.
McCormick
Those
Trust.
are the two people who are directly.
Shout out to the
Mhm.
McCormick crew. I can't
McCormick's.
let that name pass me by and not understand, like, they got a lot of seasoning to their flavor.
And some vodka, from what I'm aware of. Some vodka now. Woo! Black pepper vodka. Wake your ass up in the morning. Throw that shit in your coffee. You know what I'm saying? But it's honest. So when we think about this re-release and how it's going to affect the culture, and we looked at the reflection of all these past albums of these different artists that were able to be released, and just the idea they even had the content, you know, to be able to have this, you know, to be able to be stretched. You know, what do you think that this release is going to do, I guess, for the culture of hip hop? And really, like, you know, what do you think, I guess, the intentions of this release being? Do you think it's completely profit? You know, I'd hate to think of it like that, you know, but what do y'all feel about it?
Mondo, man. I want Mondo, bro. He's a Mac Miller fan, bro. I want to know this opinion.
For all Mac Miller fans, how do y'all feel about this?
So when it comes to when Circle's released after his death, I thought that it was like giving us the end. Like it was, I would be cool with that being the last thing ever released.
The finale.
When it comes to Faces coming out, since it is a re-release project and it's a project that I was only available on YouTube and something that I would often look up as someone that just listens to Spotify, I would find myself looking up like Funeral or Diablo just because I wanted to vibe to that. So it is helpful now that it's on streaming platforms, you know, now that I don't have to go to a separate platform to look it up on some of his best work. So, but when you look at the intention behind it, it's kind of hard to tell. I mean, maybe it could just be for us fans. I know us fans appreciate it because if you're a big Mac Miller fan, you know Faces, and it's good to be able to easy access to it.
Right.
But it's hard to tell the intention behind it. But at the same time, is how much money could they have made from that when it came to all those samples and stuff? So it's, I can't really give a full opinion. I am glad that it was released on streaming platforms because now I can listen to all of my favorite music in one spot.
There you go.
They still have some unreleased songs that need to be released by him that I hope they do, that you'll find around floating on YouTube. But yeah, I mean, time will tell. I mean,
that's a first-hand account from for real Mac Miller fan, bro. So that's big facts right there, like all day. I wouldn't be able to give you a definitive answer to that question, bro, because I'm just not the biggest fan of Mac Miller. But I can definitely say our fucking asshole producer is
Oh, we can't. Yeah, is another song that was released on Mac Miller's Faces.
Okay.
It wasn't originally on the project. I don't know where it came from or what era. It seems like later Mac Miller. Just if you listen enough to him, it seems like a later
Snuck one
era.
in on you
but
guys.
yeah, it was a good song.
Snuck
Threw that one in there.
little
Gave us a
curveball on
bonus.
your ass.
Just gave us a
Yeah, here
little
you
cookie.
go.
Like good boy.
This is for all the
That's
Mac
so
Miller
honest.
fans. We could drop one off for you.
You know, and that's understanding the
That's what's
culture and
up.
really knowing what to look for and to say, hey, this isn't a part of it, you know, and talking about this culture of hip hop and the influence of how everything is, you know, and basically how everything is kind of bubbling down to people's actions and how people are, you know, really interacting with folks. You know, I know there was a artist named Puya and some other folks
Puya.
named Fat Nick that's also affiliated with these folks out here
because I was
in
gonna
a
check his name
Puya.
up. He was gonna be Pooh Shiesty. He was gonna be
Pooh shot,
he was gonna be Pooh.
the
He
big
was gonna
Pooh.
be Pooh.
You know what I'm saying?
Pooh yay, Pooh y'all.
And I think these folks is out of where they
Where's
from?
Puya
I think
from?
they out the Florida area.
They're out of
Florida.
Okay.
Some Florida
Florida
boys.
cats.
You know what I'm saying? Beach boys.
I'm not gonna say the wrong area.
It's just somewhere
We're gonna
down there
check
in
the
the
facts
beach.
on that. We're gonna check the big facts.
You know what I'm saying? But the big thing of it, you know, is they've gotten hit with a lot of different cases, you know, sexual assault, rape, you know what I'm saying?
Back to
doing this
2007.
shit.
2017.
Yeah, doing this shit.
They've been
since 2017
actively
doing this
investigated for allegations
with
of,
their fans.
of serious allegations of
Serious allegations.
The big
rape
R.
and
Yes.
and some other sodomizing things. But
Mm-hmm.
when you talk about counseling culture, does that play a part in Puya's case?
You know, and this would be, I think, a good example of someone who has actions and they should be stigmatized. That's the best way of saying it. You know, you can't go around and just do what you want because of the platform you're on. You have a responsibility to yourself to act right.
But at the same
Mhm.
time, you got this guy Puya that has allegations of the same thing going back to
Going back.
2017, and he has a recent allegation.
So he
Oh,
keeps
I'm
doing
looking
this
at
shit.
I believe this
We
was
got
a
the
few
Bigg
months
Faccz
ago.
report.
He keeps
people.
doing
He has a
it.
recent allegations, and the thing is, he's still making a career. He's
Wow.
still coming out with music.
Yes.
And as someone, I didn't even know about these allegations until the
Wow.
most recent. And I loved Puya's music. It goes hard. It's real southern. It's good music in my opinion. But and then I also liked Fat Nick because he's very trappy stuff. So and now that they're both involved in that, and now I know about this, I personally think twice before throwing them on. I
Right.
can't remember the last time I was like, you know what, let me throw on some Puya.
Right.
But if we were to go into cancel culture about that, I don't think cancel culture has quite yet grabbed them up yet because they're still making music.
Right.
They're still
Who do
making
you
money
who do you
from it.
think? And
Exactly.
to be honest with you, people of the land, people of the world, I just became Big Mike Too Big for 1G. I didn't just become Big Mike Too Big for 1G, but I just became aware of what the fuck cancel culture is. I had no fucking clue. Again, I'm an 80s kid, bro. So most of my understanding is a little bit rougher. I feel like that's some soft ass shit. If you want to know my fucking opinion, I feel like cancel culture is seriously some soft shit. If you just don't like a motherfucker, you just don't like them. But I don't think that has anything to do with a person creating content. Creating content and being an artist is one thing, but what you do in your personal life as a person, yeah, I definitely ain't gonna fuck with you if you do some shady shit. But as your music, for me, I don't think I can just cancel out fucking music just because of a person's personal actions.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And for those of you who don't know,
The practice
or
and-
just as
Yep.
out of the loop as Big Mike, the definition of cancel culture is the practice or tendency of engaging in mass canceling as a way of expressing disapproval and exerting social pressure for those who aren't aware. Cancel culture refers to the mass withdrawal of support from public figures or celebrities who have done things that aren't socially accepted today.
Yes.
And that socially acceptance, things that are socially accepted, are always changing,
continuously evolving,
especially with different movements and
because
all
right
that.
now,
Generation Nation,
in my
it's
opinion,
always-
right now, I
exactly.
think we live in a world of revolution. I think everybody
Yes.
is on a rebellion. Everybody is on some kind of revolutionary kick. So I think social acceptance is gonna be forever evolving now, way more now than it ever has. I think we're more traditional in our social acceptance back in the day, but now it's fucking insane. It's changing so fast, it's hard for me to keep up with it. So I could give a fuck about being socially accepted. I love you all, but at the same time, fuck you.
You know, and the big thing too is to understand when it comes to these things is there's things that are obvious, like should be canceled out, you know, and folks that are, you know, with their actions. Like for me, you know, like how Mondo said, you know, it's hard to listen to Puya knowing kind of what he's done. You know, for me, you know, although I don't know how true these allegations are, I don't think they're true personally because of different opinions that I heard, but just the jacket being put on somebody, I'll say SPM. I grew up listening to SPM. He was one of the first CDs Dope House I've ever bought.
Dope
but
House
he got
Records.
hit with the charges of touching them kids.
Records. Shout out to him.
You know, shout out Dope House Records. You know, and he got caught up with them charges of touching kids. And for a long time, it was hard for me, even to this day, to listen to his music, even though I feel maybe that he didn't do that shit simply because of how that case turned out over the years that passed. But even though he might be innocent in all this, and I might feel that way about him, it's still hard for me to listen to his music. Kind of like with Michael Jackson. I don't think he did that. But when I listen to his music, just the jacket they threw on him, it bothers me.
That's the
it fucks
complex
with me.
I have with cancel culture. You know what I mean? Like if the jacket don't, like, I hate to use this expression, but you know, if the jacket don't fit, you must have quit. You know what I mean? You know, it's the same thing as the OJ glove. You know what I mean? But that doesn't mean OJ didn't do it. You know what I mean? Like that just, you know, in this case, I can't say definitively whether these people really did that because of the way the case is played out. But with Michael Jackson, especially, again, that brings me back to my initial point. Do you take away the legacy of the work that they've laid based off of their personal decisions?
Right. And
I think that's the thing about cancel culture, man, that you wanna, in essence, you kind of want to agree with it.
And that's crazy because you guys giving me the definition. I'm not trying to cut you off, Mondo, but being an older gentleman, I'm not that old, but we'll have you guys guess that one day. But it just, I want to know what it meant. And once I got the definition of cancel culture, bro, I damn near can't disagree with it now. At first I was calling it soft, like Charmin soft, like soft as the pillow when you flip it over at night. But now I kind of want to say, like, okay, I get it.
This is an example I want to put, and this came to my head, and I think this would be really good to try to think in context. These are two comedians that I'm gonna use for examples for. The first comedian, Seinfeld. We all know Kramer, and if you're old enough to remember, back in the day, he had a incident at a Laugh Out Loud show where he started using the N-word in a very, very outlandish way. And it was because supposedly, so Jerry Seinfeld at that time went on a tour of all these late night shows, basically standing up for him, saying he's not racist, he's not like that. Supposedly it was a heckler that was really pushing his buttons, and he lost it. And this is an older white man, he lost it, and he got booed off the stage. It was in city off the East Coast
his
or something.
Defense, he wasn't really using the N-word in a sense of
like
racial.
I don't like all.
It wasn't racial. It was more in the sense of the actual definition of nigger.
Yes.
And this is a black man.
He got canceled for it.
I need y'all to understand. I'm a black man, and I'm saying this. The actual definition is based off of ignorance, not knowing or dumb. You know what I mean? Like.
The white man's like, hey,
don't
whoa,
say that.
literally N-word.
The white man was like, oh shit,
I'm taking my hands off of this one.
I'm like, very uncomfortable with the energy we created in the studio.
But look, I'm just saying, just for the sake of the understanding, he was literally trying to use the word as the actual definition of the word. And because dude was actually acting very fucking ignorant. You know what I mean? But because the word has been socially scrutinized and socially unaccepted or socially accepted in so many different ways, he flung it out there like it was fucking okay. Kramer's Jewish. In real life.
Yeah. Like, a minority white to put it in better perspective, just, you know, and he was canceled. And you haven't heard nothing from him since then.
A long time before you see him in anything else. And when you did, you probably don't even remember. So it just,
because he's in the back somewhere. Yeah, and that's how his career took. My second example I want to say right quick is this dude I used to love. I love Kramer. I love Kramer. So he would be canceled today. That's how he was canceled back then. The second example, I will say this dude I used to love watching, Carlos Mencia. It was this Latin Hispanic comedian. Yeah. He had this show called Mind of Mencia. And he was very,
I really hope that you're saying the right ways of why this guy.
So this is a double thing, and I remember this. I remember this, like I said, I was a big fan of Mind of Mencia. So Mind of Mencia, he was this Latino comedian who, in my opinion, was much more about kind of vocals and sound effects. He's and stuff like that. He made a lot of references towards those of the mentally disabled community and calling people retarded. And I mean, that was the word used, you know, and he was brought up around the same time that the Chappelle show was on. This was on Comedy Central, and he was doing big stuff. And then he was found out that he was using some other comedians' lines. And when when he was called out about that, he lost his show. He was canceled. You cannot find his stand-up anywhere, bro. And if you can find it, it's in the corner somewhere. So let me mind you, he wasn't canceled because of the jokes he was committing, which if he committed those same jokes today, he would have been canceled immediately. He was canceled because of the cultural norm that he went against of taking another comedian's jokes. And you just don't do that. Or if you're going to do that, you're going to give them... That's unspoken law. If you're going to do that, you're going to show them love. You better give them like, homage. Hey, I heard this from so-and-so. Give them homage. So when we talk about cancel culture, it varies, how we said, by generation. This was about 10 years ago, a little more than 10 years ago. So if they would have produced the same content nowadays, Kramer would have been canceled immediately, and Jerry would have had no farewell tour for that
R. Kelly.
And second of all,
if you really want to go
back,
R. Kelly, bro, he's been in these accusations and now proven guilty.
And this is for decades.
For over decades. 20 years. You know what I'm saying? So we're looking at this in a different scope now. You know what I'm saying? So do you,
as a society in the US, it took us over 20 years to convict that boy.
Do you really still cancel the greatness, or do you still accept the greatness of the music and not fuck with the person? Like which one is it?
You know what
I mean?
Because, and at the same time, it ain't just the musician, it's also a team. How we talked about earlier, it's a team. You know, some people might have more creativity than others as far as creative control, but it's a whole team. It's a whole record label. They put investment into this person. And, you know, what's unfortunate is sometimes they know stuff and they let shit slide. And that's a whole nother conversation. But, you know, as far as the content of it, like, I Believe I Can Fly, R. Kelly, that's a song used in a lot of different Christian churches, Christian denominations. And it's like how some people said on various talk shows, it's not the fact that, I still listen to that song and I praise Jesus when I sing this song out loud. I'm not thinking about R. Kelly. I'm thinking about my Lord and Savior. And that's how people spin it. The message.
Yeah.
So that's groups that are very conservative in U.S. society that still listen to somebody who's a convicted child molester, you know, and they make it make sense. So it's about what's seen as what's socially accepted, and that changes not just by country, but within countries and within different cultures in these countries.
I'm going to cut in because I don't think we can use Christian, and I'm going to piss a lot of people off when I say this. I don't think we use Christian communities a whole lot when it comes to cancel culture, because it is separated. Cancel culture, when we talk about cancel culture, I want to talk about it in like just an everyday person on social media, because social media and politics is really where cancel culture comes in. You have, and I'm not saying all Christian communities, but you have Christian churches where they forgive pedophiles. They bring them in and they'll forgive them and they'll actively talk about that.
That's a lot.
That is different when it comes to cancel culture. That's when you bring religion into it, and that's
But I definitely understand where Mondo's coming from. You know what I mean? Like, if you're gonna stick to the actual definition of what cancel culture really is, it's kind of hard to involve Christians because it's damn near a double-edged, contradicting sword.
It's hard because you have such a big spectrum. You'll have some Christians that'll do that, and then you'll have some other ones that'll be like, it's not gonna work.
It's not going down over
work,
here,
you know. And but it's honest though, because you know it's really you know that and then that's the X factor, right? Because in religion you're told to forgive people, so that's the X factor of it. If you're truly religious, you forgive people, you listen to the content rather than the person's actions. So that's a religion aspect of it as well. So cancel culture is very much so, you know, the fact that, you know, whether these norms are seen as acceptable or not, you know, and who deems them as acceptable, who sees that it's a big deal, why is it seen as a big deal, and just going on from that conversation. So, you know, so with Puya and all that, it's, you know, it's the content, you know, what is he talking about? You know, I personally, you know, especially learning of these allegations, I wouldn't listen to him. I know Fat Nick's done a lot of work in Austin. A lot of folks have worked with him in the past. You know, if y'all have had any experiences, heard any stories, y'all drop some shit, you know what I'm saying? BiggFaccz@gmail.com. I would love to see what the fuck, if y'all heard anything in the city, because we all got stories to tell. And this a motherfucker.
So if you got any stories that relate to cancel culture, definitely hit us up at the Bigg Faccz Gmail.
Tell us your experiences. Tell us your experiences
with cancel
definitely,
or social acceptance.
You know what I'm saying? Cause Bigg Faccz. Bigg Faccz, man. This is the platform. You know, we want to expose shit. We want to talk about shit, and this is a public platform to do so, because cancel culture goes all types of ways. You know, different. We talked about politics. Different political groups are censored, you know, because of their ideas and whatnot, and it might be seen as extreme. So that's a type of culture that's being canceled out, that some people that are seen as somewhat of a majority might believe in, you know, but then you'll have someone that's a slight unmajority, like, hold on, that's not cool. You know, you know, what I believe is what I believe, and I shouldn't be censored on these social platforms.
I'll tell you what,
you know, so that's so.
I want you to chill your jets for a second. And chill your jets for a second, because I think we're gonna overload them a little bit. I want to sum this up, man. We came in today and we hit on as many facts as we could, from artists passing away to fucking cancel culture to what's hot in the music scene right now, what's been hot back in the day for you. Understanding music in a broad spectrum. Here's my thing. I'm gonna leave you guys with this type of saying. Don't get wrote hard and put away wet. Make sure a motherfucker put you away dry. Clean you up. Don't wear your ass out. And don't accept no fucking wooden nickels, because you can't spend them bitches. So it's your boy Big Mike, too big for 1G.
Old man.
And boy MONDEAUX Bougie, BTP the Realist. We in the building,
what's
man.
Up,
this is Bigg Faccz.
In the building.
And it's too big for one fucking G. Blah.
Coming to you live from the dirty
I feel like it's so hard to end the podcast because there's so much things. When you talk about something, there's so much things that you want to talk about, but you just gotta say goodbye.
And we use it for the.
I want to keep talking and go into depth.
I actually want to keep rolling it out, but we ain't gonna talk your heads off this time, man. We got to get out of here.
Mm-hmm. We can continue. I think cancel culture is such a big subject that we probably need to come back to later on and talk more, because there's so many aspects to it.
Y'all hit that Gmail. Y'all hit that Gmail and tell us what we missed on cancel culture. Tell us what we need to catch on cancel culture. I want y'all to hit that Bigg Faccz Gmail.
Damn right.
And I'll read it, and then I'll give a smart ass reply.
We'll talk about that shit. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about it. Honest.
I'll be like, nobody asked you, Karen.
It's always a Karen.
Gosh.
If someone emails their name's Karen, they're gonna get a joke like that. Nobody asked
you, Karen. Fuck you.
Oh my god.
But thank you for sending in your opinion and keep them coming.
Thank you for sending your opinion.
Right? Yeah. Thank you for supporting. We love you. Just keep supporting. We love you.
Stay locked in. Stay mad. It's all right, man.
She's tapped in. That Karen is tapped in. Yo, man. Real quick.
Gosh.
Back
So
to
back
the
to the goodbyes.
Back
We
to
have to leave you
goodbyes.
now. Womp womp.
We have to leave you now. I hope it's on a good
What?
note.
We shall return.
I'm gonna cut.
But we
that
shall
out.
return,
See us
motherfucker.
again.
And believe it.
Yeah, we definitely. Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
cut out
definitely
that
cut.
BTP.
It's on a good note.
Like, what the fuck is that?
Hope it's on a good.
But goodbye, peace out. Peace out from Mondo Bougie and the rest of them. I'm the only one that matters here. I am the supreme deity in this room. I write everything. I do everything. I love all of you.
Listen,
And it's a goodbye, my
Don't
children.
go out on that fucking goodbye. This guy's crazy.